Welcome back to another edition of the Holt Outdoors Podcast. I am your host, Brennan Holt, and this is episode number 17, I believe. Today we're going to talk about something a little different. We're going to, as you can see, Trey sitting right here, the producer. Go ahead and say hi to the people.
Hello, people. Yeah, we're back.
We had a little bit of a malfunction the other night trying to do this. So
this is our second recording of this podcast.
Yep. If it happens again, you will have never heard this because we probably won't do it again. But we are going to talk about Trey's big time encounter with the buck that he shot not too long ago. You guys have probably seen this video at this point.
Yeah, if I can turn it around the next 2 days, we'll see.
Yeah. We're going to go through all that and all the things leading up to Trey's journey as a deer hunter. I think it's going to be a good one. So we're just going to get right into it, I guess. But
yeah, I mean, it's been a long time coming, I guess. Like I said, as long as I'm able to turn this out in the next couple days, you guys will hopefully have seen the full episode of the hunt. But it was my first buck with a bow. It was my first buck ever. It's my first deer with a bow. First arrow I've ever shot at a deer with a bow. So all the things. We knocked a whole bunch of firsts off with this one. And like we said, it wasn't a little malfunction. It was a catastrophic issue that happened the other day. Totally unforeseen.
It was a big one.
Yeah. So we had to completely restart and redo. The long story short, this has been the culmination of what I've called 17 years worth of misfortune has been washed away now at this point. And because we spent a lot of time on the first try of filming this, going through those in depth.
We'll talk a little bit.
Yeah,
about those,
we'll not spend near as much time, but as has been well documented, I don't go hunting that often. And on this particular, it was a week ago today. Today's Sunday. I've got my Chiefs gear on. Brennan and I are diehard Chiefs fans, and really the whole reason that this came about.
People don't judge. I've been a Chiefs fan.
I'm just talking
about myself.
Eliminate you from the planet.
I'm just talking about myself.
It's we.
I have been a Chiefs fan for as long as I can remember. Trey as well.
Thank you.
Since birth. I go ahead if you feel like it, put it in the comments, bandwagon or whatever, but
no,
it ain't true for us. So
no.
Anyways, back to
that's neither here nor there. So Brennan texted me, just kind of getting right into kind of how it all started last week, or called me about 12:30. I had no intentions of really doing much that day, but he goes, hey, you want to go hunting today? I thought about it for a second. Last weekend, the Chiefs did not play on Sunday, which is typically my barometer on what I do during the day or don't do.
He's the producer. I mean, he's not scared to get out and hunt, but he's the producer. He does everything behind the scenes that makes all the videos, all the podcasts that you all see, that he's the one that makes them go. Yes, it's a 50-50 deal. It takes a lot of time to go out there and film them too, which is mostly what I do, but you got to have both to have anything at all. So, he's the one that takes care of all that. So he just doesn't hunt much, but maybe that'll start changing here in the next few years. I don't know.
Yeah. But anyway, so he, it worked out is the moral of the story on a week ago today, last Sunday. And so I got my stuff together. We talked about, what it might look like and what we needed to bring if we were even going to film the hunt. That was a legitimate question. because given my misfortune and mishaps, I had about as low expectations as you could possibly imagine. Cause like even, it's nothing's crazy is going to happen. It's, I just want to go out there and just be chill and not have to worry about filming and all this other stuff. But
for the people that are watching and are listening to this, that are kind of our hound hunting people, that, that's how you come to us to get to get your hound hunting content from us. If you're that person listening or watching into this, I encourage you to at least, when we do put out deer or turkey hunting videos, which are going to be far less of those than the hound hunting stuff, just give it a watch, because we're not deer farming, and we're not hunting on thousands and thousands of acres of private land that we own. We're just having fun and being goofy and just trying to hunt and put some meat in the freezer for the most part. I got no issues with people that want to shoot a young buck, that if it makes them happy, that's ultimately the end goal. And if you want to wait until you see a 170-inch deer, by all means. So yeah, just watch some of those videos. I think you guys will like them, and we're just out there having fun. So
yeah, and they're not just, yeah, basically.
Don't worry, there's plenty more hound hunting content.
Yeah,
that's our forte, but
there's a lot coming.
We have passion, or I do especially have a passion for hunting other stuff. So and those seasons are only in for a certain amount of time, so we'll try to have fun filming and that stuff too.
Yep. And just to touch on that briefly, because you guys have seen, we're going to be coming out with more stuff. Don't forget, October 28th, first episode of the CCS Coonhound Championship Series coming at you. We've just drawn pools a couple days ago. We filmed some content you'll see when that premieres, but just keep that in the back of your mind. So plenty more coon hunting and competition stuff coming. But back to kind of how this all unfolded. So real quick, just to give you guys kind of the backstory on my mishaps, or misfortune as I call it, when I was leading up to what was a successful hunt last week. I have, when I was 10, I went hunting by myself for one of the first times, maybe the first couple times, and I had what I still think it would be a solid shooter 8-pointer walk out in front of me. Had a real typical frame. He was no more than 20 yards as designated by a landmark, a cow skull on the ground. I had one pin in my very first bow, which was a hand-me-down, and I get to full draw on this deer, and 10-year-old Trey was freaking out, and
the old pink or faded paint jobbed high country with the creek in the limb.
Yeah,
if anybody out there has been in that spot before, leave a comment and let us know.
Yeah,
because that used to be, I don't know, 25, 30 years ago. That was probably the bow of choice. But
yeah. And then just for the record, it wasn't pink as in the whole paint job. It was pink where my brother, who's owned it before me, had shot it and gripped it so many times.
Yeah, the paint was
the bare metal
fading.
Was turning pink. But anyway, so I get drawn on this buck from 20 yards. I'm up in this ladder stand, and I go to get down on my peep. The bill of my hat is doing this to the bowstring, and it doesn't let me get down on my side. It doesn't let me do anything because I had a kisser button back then. It was just
for those
terrible.
Listening. He's saying that he could not anchor he couldn't anchor correctly because the bill of his hat was running into the string.
Yeah.
So therefore he couldn't line up his peep with his sights and do everything you need to do to make an accurate shot. So for those of you listening, just picture that.
It's not great. For those that are listening, it's not ideal, but I didn't have the thought process or anything back then just to take the string and use its tension to push my hat bill over a little bit, but that's neither here nor there. So as you can imagine, I didn't end up getting a shot at that one. I was sick over it. I let down, and out of sheer panic, it wasn't even time for this to really be effective, but I threw about 15 or 20 grunt calls in the span of 2 minutes to try to get him to turn around and give me another chance now that I'd moved my hat. He wasn't interested in that. So
yeah,
that was the first.
Everybody's been there. I've been there myself.
That was the first mishap. And then the next one, which we won't get all the way into just because it was by far the worst, is a couple years later, I was youth rifle hunting, and I took a shot when I was half sick. I coughed. The moment I pulled the trigger, it moved, obviously, the entire rifle off of the spot where I was aimed. I ended up hitting the deer in a less than favorable location for myself and for the deer. And that whole situation and how it unfolded probably is the thing that really took me out of wanting to hunt consistently, because it was rough. It was not good.
Tough thing to watch for a kid and making less than ideal shot.
Yeah. So we're not going to spend time on that one, but from
the point is, he's had some mishaps that have led to a definite
decrease in want to. I'll call it. It's not that it's not there. It's not that I don't enjoy it. It's just, man, the second one that I'm telling you about, it effectively took, because I didn't hunt all through college, I'll say. So it effectively took me out of the game.
Unless I came and drug you out of wherever
14 or 15 years.
Do something.
But anyway, so that's just kind of the backstory on some of the unfortunate things that have happened throughout kind of my, adolescence, I'll call it. Not necessarily childhood. That kind of dampened the whole hunting experience for me. But anyway, now that that's out of the way, that brings us kind of to a week ago today. And I'm kind of jumping around a little bit. After Brennan and I decided we were going to go, and I came over here, we immediately went outside and started shooting, because I hadn't touched my bow for a year and a half probably until the day before, which would be 8 days ago Saturday. Yeah. And he just, wanting to make sure all my bow sight was sighted in, all my stuff was still working, all this, that. And this is going to play a pivotal role in the story later on. But once we kind of got all that dialed in and we kind of settled on, okay, this would work, we started looking at my arrows with my broadheads. And I'd had these broadheads a while because I bought them a long time ago, never used one of them. But we get to looking, I have 3 2-blade original Rage broadheads. 2 of them, he's telling me, are seized because they won't lock back into the, fixed or locked position. So the blades are just kind of dangling about, even though they haven't been shot yet. Not ideal. I completely understand.
Yeah.
We did have one. I did have one that was still good, still locked in, still sharp, all those different things. So we decided that was going to be my primary go arrow. And then he gave me a fixed blade broadhead and another one of his mechanical ones just as backups, just in case we needed them.
Yeah. And just keep in mind, if you're watching this or listening, and you probably know a Rage broadhead, but the original Rage 2 blade is something that I killed my first deer with when I was 12 with a bow. I killed my first deer with a bow when I was 12, and I shot that deer with a Rage 2 blade. So
they've been around a while.
That was, approximately 20-some years ago.
Yeah, they've been around a while. But anyway.
But I did check it, and it was operating like it's supposed to, and it was sharp. So I felt pretty good about that. And the reason I wanted him to shoot that one is because it tends to penetrate a little bit better than the broadheads that I have on my arrows. So
yeah,
that's why we decided that. And he was, shooting good, hitting in the right spot. We didn't really want to be shooting much past, 40 for sure, but more like 30. So he was hitting good, and felt pretty good about his equipment, at least, to perform. So
So anyway, once we got all that kind of dialed in and sorted out, we got dressed, went out to the property. We got there probably around 4, and it's overlooking a food plot that Brennan and Ethan had planted with radishes. Correct?
Yeah.
Based on what we did, because we've been through this already once.
Yeah.
So it's overlooking a little radish food plot. We've gotten some decent rain in the late part of summer here, so they're doing okay.
We've got 2 or 3 inches of rain on them is all, but it's been enough to make them come up and grow enough to pull some deer in. So
yep. And so our stand is one ladder stand with not a double stand, a hang on, as I was corrected last time, where Brennan was going to be and I was going to be obviously in the ladder stand. And we probably have, I don't know, like Brennan said, we have line of sight for probably 60, 70, 80 yards going into this food plot. But like he said, my max range as far as comfortability, with accuracy and all those different things, aside from impediment, some limbs, some trees, some different things to have to shoot around or through, it was definitely going to be 40 yards.
So what are you thinking as we're going hunting?
That's a good question. You didn't ask me that the first time. So I'm thinking that, much like the rest of this time, based on what you have told me, that I thought that we were at least going to see some deer. Yeah. Like I felt pretty confident we were going to see deer and that, we were going to see some action. I'm going to say less than 25% that I think I would actually, get a shot at a deer. Yeah. And to those listening and watching and everything, I did talk to Brennan prior. I said, I'm not looking to go through all this and do all this follow-up work and everything for a spike, a really young deer, a non-mature doe. Like, the only really things I'm going to be interested in getting, this is going to sound snobby since I haven't killed anything with a bow prior to this, is a very mature doe or a mature shooter buck. And, I'm sure that goes for everybody. Some people only want to shoot that stuff or what have you. Normally people are more experienced and that's what they're kind of aiming for, a la Brennan. Like, he's not going to shoot a spike or younger buck or whatever either.
Depends on how hungry I am.
Well, okay. So we kind of knew that going in, but that's kind of what I was thinking, that we were going to go. It was a nice evening. It wasn't too hot. And I was just gonna see what happened. Yeah, we were just kind of work through it. But my thought process going into the hunt, for people out there, is we just had a cold front kind of push in. It was starting to push in that day, and some people don't believe in the moon. I kind of do. I don't. It's not everything, but it certainly seemed to have helped on this night. But if you guys will just look at when the moon is full, the moon goes full every 28 days, I believe. And if you'll look at the moon when it goes full, the 7 days before the moon goes full, it rises in the evening times that naturally coincide with deer naturally wanting to get up and feed. So if you look at that, say the moon is full on the 10th, the 7 days before the 10th, that moon is going to be rising in the evenings when you're going out to hunt, and it'll get later and later when it rises as you get closer to the full moon. And then after that full moon, it's the same thing for mornings. The sun or the moon is setting during the good morning hours of morning hunting, and just one thing that I've noticed is whenever you can see that moon out and you're hunting, it's usually pretty good. And that was exactly the situation we had on this hunt. It was rising at, 5 or something like that in the afternoon, and we saw several deer. They were up and moving. It wasn't super cold, but it is just a little cool front that pushed in, and it definitely helped. So yeah, keep an eye on that. I'm not saying it's law, but it definitely can help you stack the odds in your favor if you are a person who only has a certain amount of time that you can take off from work to go hunting or whatever. So I don't know. Keep an eye on it. That's why he's him and I'm me. Everything he just said is witchcraft. I got nothing for all the moon phases. I know it plays a role and everything else, but he worries about that, and I just I don't. So anyway, we get to the stand, we get set up and everything. And from, I'll say 4:15, 4:20 till 6:30, crickets. Nothing. No movement, no nothing. And, you know, going back to what I was thinking before we got to the stand, that was going to be typical. I wasn't expecting really much to happen. But then about 6:30 hit, and it was like just everything came to life. Because from that point on, it was pretty much nonstop action as far as deer appearing, moving around. It started with one doe, followed by a couple of what we're now calling younger 10 points. Obviously younger deer, not quite spikes, but still, I don't know, what, 2-3 age range on them?
The one buck that you guys see in the video was a borderline, you know, one that you could have shot. That He was young. He was probably two-year-old. But a pretty good rack for a 2-year-old. And, you know, it was up to Trey if he wanted to do it. He was more than welcome to do it. He could have shot any of them. I mean, nobody cares really. But it was just up to him. But
So we see the doe. We see him, the smaller 10, as well as a couple other small bucks, all pile in kind of around the same time. And like Brennan said, I had shots galore at this smaller 10, at a couple of does. You know, I could have taken any of them at any one of these several points, but like I said, you know, I'm only looking for a mature doe, or a mature-ish to shoot a buck, right?
So why did you not want to shoot that buck?
Because you're probably not going to like this answer, because I've seen and been on the back end of what goes into everything after the shot, as in the skinning, the gutting, the processing, the butchering, getting everything done. I've seen what it looks like.
You mean before the hunt or
no?
No, I'm saying you've seen that on other hunts besides this one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I've seen all that it takes to finish the process. And in my mind, I wasn't going to ask that of the group, mainly you, unless it was worth doing.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
because
the rack isn't what makes it worth it, though.
I know, but that's what everybody remembers. That's how you gauge, oh, this is a great deer, or this is not a great deer, or a young deer. Like
some people.
I'm not saying that's you or us, but
we are in that culture today.
That was my thought process. Like, I'm not going to subject us to 5-6 hours of extra stuff unless it's going to be worth it.
It's okay to have that thought process, but it's not the right one to have.
Well, and that may be true, but I'm just telling you because I know I'm worthless at all the stuff, at the recovery.
Well, one of these days you'll.
Well, I say worthless. It's just not my cup of tea. You know, I could figure it out or follow instruction or whatever, but that's neither here nor there. So that was my thought process. Is I knew what all was going to go into it, and I wanted to make it worth it. Is all.
I understand.
Yeah. So anyway, we've got all these opportunities at all these different deer, the smaller deer or the smaller bucks. There's one, what I'll call mature doe, who never really got probably closer than 35 or 40 yards from us, but she thought about winding us for a good 10 or 15 minutes because this property we're at is kind of not in a bottom, but it's in a bowl. So the wind swirls.
Always swirls. Unless it's blowing 10 or 15 miles an hour.
Yeah. So, you know, we kind of let her do her thing, but she stared right at us in our direction for probably 10 or 15 minutes, but eventually decided everything was cool, sauntered off, didn't blow us out or nothing. So that worked out. And then right about 6:50 or 6:55, the food plot totally emptied. There was no deer. And I'm thinking, okay, that was probably going to be it. No big deal.
No deer were scared off. They just were.
Yeah, they just moved out.
They went down to the pond. They're eating acorns and so on and so forth. There's nothing in the food plot at that moment.
Yeah. And I, because something that we haven't touched on necessarily in this podcast that we spent a lot of time touching on the first try that we did is Brennan is kind of recounting or explaining to you guys as well as to me that where my lack of experience in some of these situations is reading the situation, like knowing when to do what and what's okay and what's not, etc.
I'll give you two examples. Of what I mean by that. One is from my wife now, and one's from Trey. I took Trey bow hunting 7-8 years ago, probably. We were in a double stand on the edge of a food plot on public land, and I saw a deer coming down this hill. He's going to walk out right in front of us. It's an 8-pointer. And he knows enough about you got to be still and you got to sit still and whisper and this or that. But he doesn't know how to read the situations where you don't do that and you actually draw back fast or you stand up quick or whatever. So this deer is starting to come out. I'm telling him, go ahead and stand up. And he's kind of doing it too slow. I think the deer ends up seeing us or something.
Yeah.
And he runs off. But another situation is the one with Kaylee. We were turkey hunting years ago, and this was an awesome hunt. But we are hunting on this property, and a bird is roosted behind us, across a creek behind us, way up on this ridgetop, and we're calling to the bird, not really, thinking much about it. But one tip I'll say right here, right now, because I'm thinking of it, is don't ever set up with your back to a turkey. It's never a good idea. So even if you think you can call them in, around your position, don't ever set up with your back to the bird. But anyways, we did that in this scenario because we were looking into a bottom field. He was behind us in the woods. So anyways, the bird comes in and we can hear him spitting and drumming behind us. He's not far away, and we're on a fence, and we have permission to hunt on both sides of the fence, but it's like a hog wire fence. And I'm telling Kaylee, I've turned my head like this and I can kind of see him, and he's just back there. And I'm telling her he's getting ready to leave. Like, you need to turn and get a shot. And she's trying to turn and real slow. And I practically grabbed the gun myself and stuck it through the fence. Like, he's leaving. You need to shoot right now. So she killed that bird. But that's what I mean.
Yeah.
And that situation's not even her fault because she couldn't see it. Just you have to hunt a lot and see deer and see turkeys and this and that to really get a feel for reading the situation and knowing what you need to do to get the job done.
Basically,
whether it's to draw back slow or fast or stand up slow or stay sitting or yada yada.
Basically, you got to have those reps to know how to execute the 2-minute offense, because that's what it boils down to for Kaylee, for me, whatever.
Yeah.
So all that to say, that is still something that I am learning. And if you guys, again, hopefully, if you haven't seen the full video, assuming I can turn it around in 2 days, go check it out. You'll see kind of what we're talking about throughout that episode. But so going back to kind of where we were, it's 6:50, 6:55. The food plot is totally empty. And I asked Brennan, hey, I've been standing here kind of just, and the reason I asked this is because the ladder stand that I'm in is not very big, the platform. I have big feet, and it wasn't working. So I asked him audibly, I was like, do you think I can sit down? I mean, can we, what I'm saying? He's like, oh yeah, as long as, he doesn't say this obviously, but you're going to have to stand up again. And I go, I understand. Anyway, so 5-10 minutes goes by, and we start hearing, or I guess we have been hearing deer running probably 80 or 90 yards around this island of trees that's out of our sight, but we know they're up, we know what's up there.
It's like one deer is standing there and other deer are around, and one is trying to run others off. So I'm assuming it's one of the bigger bucks that we know is around, and that's what it was.
Yeah. So we're hearing that, this, that, and the other. And then about 7 o'clock rolls around and we see a doe come back into the field. We see a smaller buck come back into the field. And just in response to those, I'm already figuring out when I need to stand up, and getting that taken care of. But then 1 or 2 minutes later, we see out in the middle of this island of trees, probably 50 yards away, we see a big shooter, the big shooter deer rack pop out. Just his rack. We don't have great eyes on him yet, but we see him pop out. And he's 50 yards straight away from us, working left or right to left, just munching on radishes, doing his thing, whatever. And at this point, I'm thinking, okay, that's a shooter buck. If he comes in range, we're gonna have to make a play. I mean, we're gonna have to execute on this deal. But in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, there's no way I'm gonna be presented a shot just because of my not unluckiness, but just what's happened throughout my career, we'll call it. But much to my delight, I guess, in the moment, instead of sauntering around or just not really making any motion towards us, there's this the younger buck that had come out before he showed up with that doe is 15 yards in front of us, working left to right towards the pond. And as soon as that shooter buck sees him, he makes a beeline straight for us, not in a hurry or anything, but he turns and is walking directly at us with no distraction, basically. Yep. And he gets to a little ditch that just kind of feeds back into the island of trees that I had previously ranged. Just, I guess, before the ditch with him coming at us was 30 yards. The ditch is 25, and anything along that path to the pond is right around 20. So he's coming. Once he hits that 30-yard mark, in my mind, I'm thinking, this is it. He's either gonna go towards this younger buck.
Let's pause for a second.
Let's pause.
Because you told me that you said whenever he got that close, the words in your mind were, "Oh crap, I'm gonna have to shoot him."
Yep.
So what that means is, and I'm sure people out there have felt this before, but in your mind, you've went out, you've tried, you're there, you've done all the things, but I'm sure in the back of your head, you're scared to fail, right? To miss, to make the wrong move. Everybody is not scared, but it's like you said, it's like, oh man, everything has gone right. I'm going to have to shoot him.
Yeah, exactly. Because, and obviously we haven't touched on it, but the emphasis that you had put on me with my shot routine, my shot execution, and putting a good shot on him, that was absolutely going through my mind.
It wasn't pressure. I said was I gave you some coaching tips. I said, I understand. Hey, loosen your grip up. Don't punch the trigger.
I get it. And that's all well and good. But I'm just saying that absolutely okay, I'm going to get this figured out. Let's put a good shot on him. You know what I'm saying? But yes, it's exactly that because
it's almost easier if he just, goes through the food plot and wanders off and doesn't give you a shot.
Of course it's easier.
You don't have to face the...
Exactly. Absolutely it's easier. And that's what's always happened outside of my mistakes and the mishaps that I've had.
So if you're not picking up on this is a true redemption story at its best. This is years of redemption.
Yeah, I mean,
this is why I was like, yeah, let's do it. Let's get Trey on a deer. Let's get him over.
We didn't talk about this at all. He called me and I was like, all right, sounds good. It's not like some big grand scheme, but anyway, but yes, to your point, it's easier saying, oh, we saw this deer. He never got close enough for a shot. Everybody's just like, okay, wash your hands of it. You tried, go get him next time. This was not going to be one of them deals. As soon as he hit that 30-yard mark, right out directly in front of us with no branches, leaves, trees, nothing in between us.
Okay. So I'm going to take over for a second and just kind of drive. So he's coming in because this is what interests me the most is talking about how things happen in high stress situations and so on and so forth. So I want to know certain things about the next parts of this. So he gets to this ditch and he's coming towards us, and then he starts to angle, walking from left to right just a little bit, and he comes up out of this ditch. And what's going on in your head?
So as soon as he crosses that ditch, I know that he's give or take 20 yards.
Yeah.
I don't have to do in between a pin. I'm at my 20-yard pin. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, this bow he has now has got more than one pin.
Yeah, I got a 5-pin. I mean, it's a good size, whatever. Upgrade, yeah. But as soon as he crosses this ditch, I'm thinking, okay, as soon as he puts his head down or stops is when I'm going to draw.
Oh, man. Yeah. That's mistake number one.
Don't be like this. So this is going back to what we've talked about. He didn't stop or put his head down. He crossed this ditch and was not in a hurry, not in a rush, not spooked in any way, but he was just steadily
he's
making
out,
his way.
He's out of the food plot at this point.
He is, yeah.
He's out of the food plot. So he's not going to stop unless he's going to eat the grass there.
Right.
But yeah, I'm not making fun of you.
No,
I'm just highlighting this for people to hear.
So that was my first thought.
This.
Like I've
Because
always,
now that you're thinking back on it, it's not a rational thought.
No. Well, I mean, my intention was good. It was just I don't know, I guess, in general, deer pattern well enough to understand that.
Well, yeah, you don't their behavior.
Exactly.
Just the situation, reading
exactly.
it all.
You know, we
because
touched on
I
that.
point out that while the one doe knew we were around or whatever for just a little bit, she never blew or anything like that. But all the rest of the deer that were in the food plot, 10 yards or away from us, nothing ever had a clue that we were around.
No.
So everything was super relaxed. This buck, he's super relaxed. He comes out and he's walking towards us. Never just a bad moment at all.
Yeah.
Never licking his tongue or using his tongue to wet his nose to try to pick up more scent. Nothing. Just no clue that we were around. So, yeah, that is what you didn't pick up on. But okay, so he's crossed the ditch and you're waiting for him to stop or put his head down to draw.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
and again, if you guys have seen the episode, Brennan, in as much as you can in a whisper, had to yell at me to draw.
yeah, I'm not a jerk out there.
No.
But I'm not gonna just let the deer walk by without getting his
he
Trey's
comes out
attention.
of this ditch. He comes up out of this ditch, and I hear Brennan go, draw.
I only said it twice.
No,
too.
you said it 3 times.
No,
I will bet you money.
They'll hear it on the footage.
So he says draw, and I'm thinking right now he's his head's up, he's walking. If I draw, he'll see me. And he's,
Keep in mind, the deer has not looked at us once.
Yeah.
And he's starting to walk broadside.
Yeah. And so I hear it again. I hear draw. And I'm like, I'm locked on, or I'm hooked up. I'm ready to draw, but I'm still thinking he's gonna see me. And then finally he goes, draw. And I was like, okay. So I draw back, and I don't know if it was super fast, but I felt like it was a pretty good speed.
Yeah.
And
you can do that at that point because he has no clue we're there.
Yeah.
No clue.
Yeah.
And it'd be different if he crossed the ditch and then got a whiff of us,
Yeah. No,
and then you can see his body tense up.
Yeah.
And maybe he takes a quick step and then pauses and looks around, licking his nose, and then he keeps going on, but you can just tell that he's weary. Then you need to be cautious about how you draw.
No, and I get the difference. I do. But
so you get drawn.
So I get drawn. Okay. We are back after a brief intermission. The camera got too hot, so we had to shut her down. So as I was saying, now that this I've gotten drawn and this buck has crossed over this little ditch after Brennan kind of coaxed me to getting it done. I get anchored. I can see down my sights. Big improvement, I know. My hat's flipped around. Everything's going to be kerfuffled. But I get anchored, and I'm waiting for this buck to stop, just like I was whenever I was waiting to draw. I was like, he's got to stop, surely, because that's always, they walk a few steps, whatever. So I was waiting for him to stop before I could really get locked in. And before I know it,
he wasn't going to stop.
He wasn't going to stop. Before I know it, he is getting right to the line of where if he goes maybe 5 or 10 more yards right, there's going to be a tree, and I'm going to lose my window. And just like he did when I was trying to get drawn, I hear Brennan go, "Stop him." And I'm doing this number. I'm looking around, and I hear, "Stop him." So I, and this is where Brennan's going to tune in and go over the Grunt-Stop conversation we had.
Yeah.
Earlier in the day, he asked me while we were out here shooting, making sure I was sighted in and everything. Give me your Grunt-Stop. And I, one of them.
Yeah.
And he says, "You want to start low, volume wise. You want to start low and build as to not spook them or scare them off."
Again, reading the situation.
Yeah.
Depending on what's happening.
Yeah.
If a deer's running behind a doe in the middle of October in the rut and he's running by you, you can practically yell.
Yeah.
To stop.
Yeah.
But this situation,
not so much.
Feeding, walking slow, just start slow.
Yeah.
But he started pretty loud, and
I'd give it a medium.
It was medium.
In hindsight.
It stopped him.
Yeah. So I threw it on, and again, you guys probably heard it by now, but and he locked her up. And
okay, so what do you remember about aiming, pulling the trigger? What do you remember?
I could confidently say there was zero shot routine. Everything we had talked about that day, gone.
Out the window.
Gone. And he's going to say,
that happens.
"Oh, you've got target panic." You got to realize this is my first opportunity ever in my entire life.
People have target panic. I do it.
Well,
still.
I know, but it just irritates me because it's like if you don't do these things, you automatically assume. And I'm not saying I do or I don't, but I've always considered myself to be a little bit more on the calm side. Anyway, so I'm drawn back.
Calm.
Shut up. I'm drawn back. I've got this deer stopped, and you can visually see in the video that all the way up until I squeeze the trigger or make the shot, I am moving just something fierce, just trying to get locked onto this deer's body at the spot where obviously I was going for. And what do I remember?
Do you remember aiming?
Yes.
Shooting your pin on the deer at all?
Yes, I do. That's one of the few things that I have. I have the aiming. It was shaky. It was loose. I was like, okay, we're just going to wiggle it up a little bit right there. And his big thing is squeeze the trigger.
And I told him to take his time too. You always have more time than you think you do.
He
stopped him, and it was literally less than a second before the shot went off.
We'll have to put a timer on that. I don't think it was that fast, but I did not squeeze the trigger. I can confidently say I hammered it. I just but it worked out. The only other thing I remember besides aiming, getting it on him, was my green Luminoc. I knew immediately that I did not miss the deer. And as you guys saw or heard in the video,
you don't remember where
no
you hit him.
No. As you guys heard in the video, I turned to Brennan. I said, "I think the shot was pretty good. I'm thinking it was a little back of the shoulder, a little, left and right."
It was right on the crease.
Yeah,
it was just a little high.
After we reviewed the footage and everything,
that's what happens all the time to people. They can't remember anything of what happened.
Yeah,
they hit the deer perfect. Ends up it was a little back. Your mind just plays tricks on you.
Yeah. I knew the only thing I was certain of is that I did not miss. I didn't shoot under him. He ducked just ever so slightly. but I knew that I did not miss him. I didn't look for him to where he ran off. I shot and immediately looked at Brennan. I was like, I got nothing. I have no idea.
Yep. That happened. But he, watching it back, when I watched it in real time, I felt like it was a good shot. It was a double lung shot. But when I started watching it in slow-mo, I started second guessing it a little bit. Like maybe it was just a little bit high. But it turned out that, he was double lunged for sure. And you can never be too careful. So we went back home, hung out for a little bit, and went back and got on the blood. So
and once we got to him there, he didn't probably make it 100 yards. He didn't make it out of the food plot. The reason we didn't hear him crash is because he fell right in a cleared path or road where there's no leaves, just grass. So we didn't hear hardly anything.
Yeah, and when we gutted him, it's kind of crazy, honestly, but that Rage 2 blade deployed vertically like this, and it went on the ingoing side of the rib cage. It went between two ribs. It got the top of the on lung, and then went straight through the center of the offside lung, and then back out the other side of the rib cage, vertical still, straight between two ribs.
So even though the shot was maybe a touch high, the way that the Rage deployed and the way it worked out, it gave me some extra cut or depth down towards his vitals, which obviously we needed. He's a very mature deer. I think we ended up saying he was a 10-point just based on a couple of kickers and little things he had going on.
Yeah, it was a nice deer. Gross scored right around 144 inches.
Yeah. So obviously, being my first deer, he's the biggest I've ever shot, or my first buck, I should say. He's the biggest one I've ever shot, and it worked out.
So how did you feel going back to the house? We didn't see any blood right at the shot.
Yeah. After we got down, saw the arrow punched clean through him. It didn't, easy arrow recovery. I was feeling okay at that moment, but after him and I looked around and we saw no blood, nothing, especially for where we thought the shot had hit, even if it was a little high, I was like, there's no way. I've hit a void where there's nothing, and he's just gonna keep on marching.
Yeah.
And
so you weren't feeling super great about it at that time?
No.
All right. Well, what about whenever we get back? We went back. I got my coon light and my coon hunting light. It's a lot brighter, better floodlight than what we had. So we was able to see a lot more. We start finding blood. So what are you thinking then?
Well, you kind of snuck it up on me, but even though he started to find the blood trail, it was very minuscule, in my opinion.
It was decent. It wasn't great.
Yeah, it was. Well, to me, in that moment, I was like,
there's enough to follow it. Pretty quickly.
There's a dime-sized drop of blood on this leaf, and then 10 steps later, there's a dime-sized piece on this leaf, and
not
it's just
all
like
blood trails are the same either. That one particularly. The fact that the entry and exit holes were pretty high in the body, could have been a lot better blood trail if it's, just a cavity that's filling up with blood. If the holes are on the bottom of it, it's probably going to bleed a lot better.
Yeah.
So,
but honestly, the entire time up until when Brennan kind of surprises me by just saying congratulations and pointing the camera at me, I was like, we're not going to find him. I was dead set on it because I've seen good blood trails. That was not one of them, in my opinion. And I was like, there's no way that I shot him anywhere near his vitals or double lung or whatever. And this is the blood trail, especially with the arrow punching clean through him. And at this moment, what we're thinking is the Rage Broadhead deployed correctly. I was like, there's no way that this is what it is. But lo and behold, we probably trailed him for 20 or 30 yards into the path he took inside that island of trees. And Brennan looks up with his big bright light and sees sees his white belly folded up on the just, 60, 70 yards in front of us, and that was it. So we really never even saw if the blood trail got better. Obviously, it did the job, but it was quite the deal.
A lot of internal bleeding, and he was stiff, when we got to him. So he died probably minutes after he was shot. It didn't take long. So, yeah, you don't have to hit him in the heart. You just gotta put an arrow through both lungs, and that's going to do the job every time. But
Yep. So
what did you think walking up to him?
I was glad that because at this point we'd watched the shot 50 times. I was glad that in the end I had put a good enough shot on him to get the job done. That was my, because nobody, not just me, nobody likes to have an opportunity 20 yards, basically broadside at a shooter buck and put a bad shot on him, or even worse, miss altogether. Nobody wants that. So I was just more relieved in that moment that I didn't miss him. I put a good shot on him, and it got the job done. Then once we kind of found him and all of that wore off, he's a great deer. He's mature. Like Brennan said, he scored well for around Southwest Missouri area where we don't routinely see 160s or 170-inch deer. It just really doesn't come along that often. So I was just glad.
He was mature. He was
he was a mature deer.
Years old, my guess.
Big bodied deer for sure.
Biggest one in that place that we hunt. So
yeah.
The rack's not everything, but it's just something fun to remember. And just to score it so you have something, a measuring stick to look back on years later. And
But no, I was ecstatic. And then just like I told you earlier, knowing what came next, my mind was like, okay, we got to take him over here. We got to field dress him. We got to take him back to the house. We got to let everybody see him. And then we got to, by we, I'm saying 99.9% Brennan is doing these things because he loves me for some reason.
Next time it's going to be him.
We got to skin him. We got to butcher him. We got to get the meat together. We had to do all this stuff. So that was kind of where we went next. But yeah, it was overall, it was a good hunt. It was a cool hunt. He's a nice deer, and I'm glad it all worked out the way it did.
Yeah. If you guys haven't watched it, go check it out.
It's a good one. I haven't edited it yet, but it's going to be a good one.
Go check out, some of our old deer and turkey hunts too. They're good ones. Good footage and good hunts, and especially that one from last year. Ethan killed a really nice buck in this same food plot that Trey just killed one in. So that was last year, early season, and it was a good hunt. So yeah, if you haven't watched those, go check them out. They're worth watching for sure.
Yeah.
But, I enjoyed it and had a good feeling that we would probably get a shot that night.
Well, let me ask you this, because we haven't talked about this. On the flip side, take me through what you're thinking, being in your mentorship kind of spot that you were in filming and everything. What were you thinking when he stepped out of the island of trees? What were you thinking?
I'm just trying to get good footage of him.
Well, that's no fun. That's not a fun answer.
I have two cameras in the tree, the camcorder that I'm holding, that I'm doing the majority of the filming with. The other one is a pocket 2 that's kind of connected to the tree for a second angle. And the second angle on this hunt is pretty awesome. But I'm just thinking of trying to get good footage. And I'm also coaching.
You're right.
And reading the situation of the deer to see what's going to happen. Because you always have to think 2-3 steps ahead. So I'm filming is just, like I'm not thinking about that. I'm just doing it. So I'm thinking about where is he at? How's he acting? Which way is he going to go? If he goes this way, do you have a shot? How far is the shot going to be? If he comes this way, what's he going to do? This buck's standing in here between us. There's a doe over here to our left. Is he going to go check the doe? Is he going to come to this buck? Is he gonna eat on these radishes right here? If he stops there, is he gonna be 30 yards or is he gonna be 20? Are you gonna have a shot there? What am I gonna have to do? Am I gonna have to bend down in order to film it, or am I gonna have to lean over? Or how far out should I be zoomed? Is it in focus? Am I in manual focus or autofocus? Blah, 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 blah. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
But as he comes closer.
That's what I'm after.
And I know he's walking towards us. He's either going to turn right or turn left. So I'm just waiting for him to, make that decision. And then I'm like, okay, he has no idea that we're here. He's not looked up whatsoever. You can pretty much get away with murder at this point in the tree. If he turns left, holy crap, he's going to literally walk in the widest open shooting lane that you have at less than 20 yards. And that's what he did. So as soon as he starts coming up the ditch, I'm telling you, you need to be drawn now.
Yeah.
You need to be drawn back. And, you get drawn back, and I'm got to move the camera there for a second to get over the top and see. And I'm just like, I just start coaching and filming.
Yeah.
And you get him stopped. And I mean, I hate to say it now, but I really felt like you were going to miss because that happens.
Yeah.
I missed so many deer when I first started bow hunting as a kid. So many deer. I can't even tell you how many deer I missed because nothing can prepare you for
I can say that firsthand. Nothing.
You feel when you're aiming at a deer.
No.
And how your body goes on autopilot.
Yeah, it was
sync, and you have to stay present in the situation, and that's what those things I was telling you when we were practicing.
Yeah.
That's what those help you to do is stay present, is aim, get it done, watch it to keep it, squeeze.
Yeah. No, and I can attest to that because it was like, it happened. I was telling Ethan this that night. It's a very strange phenomenon because you spend all this time in the stand, waiting, practicing for the thing that happens in under like 3 seconds. And then as soon as it happens, your mind just totally wipes and you have no idea what happened or what, you turn around like, I got nothing. What was it any good? Anyway.
Yeah.
But no, it ended well.
It was. I felt like you were you.
So you didn't have any faith in me, huh?
I just know how hard it is to shoot one.
I get it. Yeah.
A big one at that.
I mean,
your first time. Now, granted, it helped that he was 18 yards away.
Don't. But yeah, I understand. I understand.
But yeah, I knew you'd be nervous. I wanted you to make a good shot. I just know it's hard.
Yeah.
So I was just wanting you to take your time.
Well.
So, but.
I was more concerned about putting it on him in a hurry and seeing where it went.
But. Yeah, you did. You did good. You did good.
So.
Made a good shot. The deer dropped just a little bit, but. Yeah, you did everything right. Even if I had to coach you a little bit, you still did it right. So it's just, it is not easy to do that with a bow at all. So,
but anyway, that's kind of, as Brennan labeled it, the redemption arc. It took me 19 years to get over the hat bill fiasco. But we finally broke through, finally on the board. Thank you guys for watching. If you've made it this far and listening, it was a good hunt. Good to kind of recap it, kind of get thoughts, because a lot of that can get lost when you're out in the stand and just kind of raw filming. You don't want to, you don't really know what to say, and it just all goes by really so quickly. But
I'll just say one last thing and then I'll let you close it out since this is kind of your story. But if you guys are listening or watching, just don't be judgmental of the other party, if you're the one who's out there hunting on public land, or you have 10 acres or 5 acres and you're just starting out, you want to learn how to hunt, go shoot what makes you happy. If it's a 7-pointer or a doe or whatever, or if it's the biggest buck you've ever seen, shoot what makes you happy. Eat the meat. The meat is delicious and good for you. And if you are that guy, then don't judge the guy who is out there waiting for a 160 to shoot, and the people that are out there shooting 160s that are farming deer and growing them. You guys don't look down on the person that's trying to have fun and just go out and hunt and enjoy being in the outdoors and shooting whatever makes them happy. Everybody needs to just quit worrying about what everyone else is doing and just go out and have fun and do whatever makes you happy. And I think we'll all as hunters be a lot better off. So I'll just say that it's meant to be fun, and it's God's country, and it's meant to get out there and get away and just enjoy being out in God's creation and providing meat for your family, for yourself, and having fun. So
well said. But yeah, that's going to do it for this episode 17 of the Holt Outdoors Podcast. He's Brennan. I'm Trey. Be sure to like and subscribe. We're kind of changing it up with this content just because it honestly just happened. But we got plenty more coon hunting stuff, competition stuff. The CCS is going to be launching soon, so keep an eye out for that. And until then, we will catch you guys on the flippity flip. Peace.
See ya.